myself. My name is Kelly Brittingham. I have been a volunteer here at Independence Village since 2015, which is crazy because that's 10 years ago. I can't believe I've been doing it for that long.
Could you speak a little louder?
Sure.
Talk into the
Just put it in your mouth.
Okay, I started bringing the Holy Eucharist with my children who were 9 and 4 and are now in college and almost high school. Now I haven't been able to come for the past year and a half because of a health diagnosis. That was very difficult for me, as one of my favorite things is to come here and see all your faces. But I am so happy to be back and in post-treatment. I was asked to share my journey, and so now you will hear how God guided me and protected me the whole time. So here we go. I'm going to take you through my breast cancer journey, one that tested me in ways I never imagined. I have been faced with hardships in my life. My childhood wasn't easy. I've had to remove some family members. I lost my dad in 2022, who was my everything. Then I lost my Aunt Karen in 2023, who was like a mom to me. I am also a recovering alcoholic. I can proudly say I'm 12 and a half years sober, and so thankful for God's grace on that morning of March 13, 2013. That journey is a whole nother story. But then in 2024, at 44 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. In my right breast, 5 lymph nodes, and internal mammary. This came out of left field. Unintended. I've played softball my whole life. I had a mammogram on January 15, 2024. They called the next day and said it was good and clear. I carried on with my life. We had a big trip to Arizona for my son to play baseball in February, and then went to Sedona and the Grand Canyon. My daughter's spring break cruise was in March to celebrate her senior year and all her hard work she had done. But then in the shower on that morning of Saturday, April 20th, I found the lump. And I knew the second I found it. I didn't have large breasts, so it was very obvious. 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters. How could I have missed it? How long had it been there? In addition, my armpit was also swollen. Had I known that was a sign, I would have gone in sooner. That is the big one I missed, and I want to warn other women about. I can still remember it all so vividly. Funny how there are certain moments in your life you remember every detail. It was a rainy morning, and I had to go to my son's baseball game in Royal Oak. But in that small moment, on an ordinary Saturday morning, life as I knew it changed. Fear, uncertainty, and countless questions filled my mind. How could this happen? I have done everything right. Proactive BRCA testing, which was negative. Yearly mammograms since I was 33, since it ran in my birth family. I was adopted, but I learned that my birth mother and birth grandmother both had it. Ironically, my cancer was not genetic, which I am very thankful for my children. So where did it come from? I work out every day, I don't drink or smoke, I eat clean, and I do all the right things. The beginning of the journey is just the hardest. Every night, you try to go to sleep, praying it's not spreading throughout your body. Every morning, you wake up and pray that it was a bad nightmare. But it was not. It's your life. But through this journey, I learned the power of 3 simple steps. Pause, ponder, and make room for God. These steps didn't just help me survive, they helped me thrive in the midst of fear, pain, and uncertainty. First was the pause, facing the diagnosis. When I first received my diagnosis, I cried, like anyone would. I was on the floor in my husband's office at home when my doctor called and confirmed my gut feeling. She said, "Yes, Kelly, it's breast cancer." I don't remember much else that she said after that. You can't hear anything, you are in shock. Your life flashes before your eyes, and you feel so overwhelmed and sick. But she said these words to me, and I focused on them my whole journey. Treatable and curable. I would repeat it to myself over and over. I was still scared, overwhelmed, and unsure of what the future held. My daughter was a senior in high school. We were supposed to be celebrating and preparing. However, our family was catapulted into a scary reality we could have never seen coming. Your life feels like it stands still, but the world keeps moving. You have so much to do, and it's so exhausting. Cancer causes such fatigue. It feels like forever during biopsies, testing, scans, planning, so many appointments each week, phone calls, insurance, genetic testing. It is a full-time job managing it all. I had just stopped working at St. Pat's in Christian Service, so I felt like God had made my full-time job to be a cancer warrior. Eventually, we finally get the plan to take it down. My plan was chemo and immunotherapy, surgery, which was a double mastectomy, and then radiation. 20 weeks of chemo starting June 17th. We were able to structure it around my daughter's graduation party and an epic trip to Cooperstown for my son, which we had all been looking forward to for years. The first round of chemo was 8 weeks of AC, which is nicknamed the Red Devil, and is one of the strongest breast cancer chemotherapies. The second round was Taxol, weekly for 12 weeks. There would be a 6-week break to allow my body to recover and white blood cells to come back up. Then surgery, then another 6 weeks, then radiation. Hormone suppressive treatment would follow, as my specific cancer was 95% estrogen fed. This would put me into medical menopause at 45. Medical menopause is very harsh. Most have years to transition, but we are slammed there, as my doctor would say. In the past, I would have rushed to action, but this time I realized I needed to pause, my first step. Pausing meant allowing myself to feel, to breathe, and to turn to God. It was in those quiet moments that I began to sense His presence, whispering peace into my heart, even when everything felt chaotic. Like, for example, my very first chemo. Most people are terrified and anxious. I felt calm, like a peace and a presence. It was such a great feeling that I can only explain as God. Everyone talks about chemotherapy as a poison. I mean, it is. It's killing cancer. But I had to change my mindset. I told myself I was excited. I felt empowered, and I was ready to take down this beast. Every session we counted down. My husband made me an awesome avatar that was a superhero with a K, and it had no hair and a cape. I researched so many things. I ate healthy. I got tons of fluids. I exercised and prepared my body like a soldier going into battle. I supported my body with a lot of holistic practices, IV fluids, acupuncture, yoga, and meditation. I have done a lot of meditation in my sobriety journey, and I knew how powerful the mind was. I found a chemotherapy meditation, and it assisted me in picturing it as liquid gold going through my body, finding the cancer, and washing it down the river. It was such a cool visual. It really helped me, and I think that this positive mindset carried me through my journey. Pausing gave me that clarity. It reminded me that I was not alone in this fight. He was holding me in the palm of His hand, like He always does. And my second step was to ponder, processing, and reflecting. I reflected on what this challenge was teaching me, not just about health, but about life, priorities, and faith. I learned how to rest, not just physically, but mentally. I realized rest wasn't weakness, it was essential for healing. Exercise had always been a form of empowerment for me, which would be even more important now. Even during treatments, moving my body reminded me that I still had strength and control. I exercised the entire time. I only missed a couple workouts during chemo. I think maybe 3. 5:45 a.m. workouts during the week have been part of my routine for 12 and a half years now. It helped me to try to stay as normal as possible. My support system there was a huge part of my success. My muscle mamas and other 545ers, as we call ourselves, helped me more than they'll ever know. And pondering allowed me to shift my mindset. Instead of focusing on fear and what ifs, I focused on gratitude, faith, and the strength God was giving me every single day. I thanked my body all the time. In the beginning, I have to be honest, I felt like my body had betrayed me. I was so angry. How did I have stage 3 cancer inside of me, but no signs? Then I decided to show it love and gratitude. It was so strong, powerful, and it carried me through this. It showed up every day and fought this cancer for me. I had a complete response to chemo and have been cancer-free since my double mastectomy on November 25th, 2024. My radiologist who read it happened to be a childhood friend's husband, and he said it was the best response to chemo that he'd seen in 25 years based on imaging. I was so happy. There is a lot of research and information coming out about how powerful it is to exercise through a cancer journey, and I didn't quite know exactly how important it was. It was just what my body and mind needed. But I truly felt thankful to God for Him giving me the strength to do it. It's not easy. Chemo is hard. Losing your hair is hard. But God is good and will see you through it. And the third and most important step was to make room for God. Whenever I was scared or anxious, I leaned on Him. I prayed, I reflected, I journaled. And in those moments, I felt His presence guiding me, comforting me and reminding me that I was never walking this path alone. Faith gave me the courage on the days when treatments were grueling and my body felt weak, when the fatigue made me sleep all day, and I could only eat soup. My amazing neighbor made me soup through my whole journey because she knew it was one of the few things I loved to eat. Faith helped me choose hope when fear tried to take over, and faith reminded me that even in uncertainty, God's plan is bigger than my own circumstances. He was going to see me through this and bring me out even stronger on the other side. I have a beautiful family He wants me to love and take care of, and so much to share with this world. This journey taught me so much. Faith and mindset can transform fear into courage. Pausing and pondering gives space for God to work in your life, especially when you let go and trust. Not just say that, but actually live it. Self-care, rest, and movement are not luxuries. They are very important tools for healing. And most importantly, I learned that God walks with us, even in the darkest valleys. He never leaves us, and sometimes He teaches us the greatest lessons when life feels the most uncertain. In closing, I want to leave you with this. Pause, ponder, and make room for God. Pause to stop the chaos in your mind. Ponder to reflect and gain perspective. And make room for God because He is the constant in every storm, the guide through every trial, and the peace that surpasses all understanding. If you take nothing else from my story, know this. Even in the hardest seasons of life, God walks with you. And if you pause, ponder, and make room for Him, you will discover a strength and a peace you never thought